This is take 2 of the Botanists of Chult, which will be hopefully a fun game starring 4 very fun-looking characters. If we'll just do a quick recap on character introduction, and then we'll jump right back in. So.
Sure. Hi, I'm Naceli. I am a cartographer. That's one of my favorite things to do. I'm also a monk by trade. I meditate and focus, and it's actually really just been helping me kind of collect myself for cartography. So it's worked out really well so far.
Fantastic.
Hello, my name is Niani. I am a tabaxi bard. I have a beautiful fish-shaped lute, and I will play it for you when I am not looking for the plants that I am searching out.
Introducing Rust. Rust is a 4'7" tall Aarakocra druid. Rust is dedicated to the downfall of the oppressors that will hold the common people down. Not that it helps much in a forest where there isn't a lot of authority to overthrow.
Oh, sorry, was I supposed to say something? Hi, I'm Stella. I don't know how I got the name Stargirl, but you can also call me Stargirl if you want. I'm here in what looks like a really pretty beach with trees and water and the sky. Oh, it's so nice here. Sorry, was I saying something?
So that is absolutely fantastic. So our 4 intrepid heroes, who are level 1 adventurers who have arrived in Port Nyanzaru, which is the main city in Chult, which is a far-off island, much removed from the main continent in our one-shot world. And so you are all members of the Zandrettan Botanical Research Committee, which is kind of a not archaeology, kind of. They've got an archaeology branch, but you're the botanical branch, and you were sent over to Chult because trade routes with Port Nyanzaru have recently been established, and now that the city is basically opened, you are sent down to try to get permits to go into the infamous jungles of Chult and figure out what kind of wildlife and especially samples of new exotic plants and fungi and whatever else that you can find to be recorded in the great libraries of Zandrettan. So your party has arrived over 3 weeks ago. It's been a very long, hot, humid, dirty 3 weeks. You were able to rent a little area here in the docks, and this is basically just like a 2-room shack that you were able to rent for a couple gold per month, essentially, which is paid through the per diem of the ZBRC, which is your Zandrettan Botanical Research Committee group that you're part of. And you're issued some writs of like papers to go on, which you found that you have to certify with the merchant's wards. There's 7 merchant princes who run the city, and after quite a long delay, you finally get news that your paperwork has been made in order, and your permit to go exploring into the jungle has been approved. And so, Naceli, Niani, Rust, and Stella, you find yourselves in your little hut. There's kind of a lavatory in the back, kind of a single front desk area with a little kitchenette, stove, and an oven. And then there's a single bedroom which has 6 cots, 3 high on 2 separate like triple bunk beds. So there's enough room for you guys to keep some of your gear stored there. And I would need to know who is not in charge of this, but who is the one who is handling the paperwork.
I could do it if necessary.
So I have a volunteer with Niani. So You have just returned with the very specially stamped permit allowing you to go into the jungles. And having just returned back, you enter into the little hovel, and you see Nazelli, Rust, and Stella probably twiddling their thumbs. I don't know, maybe one of you has just returned from shopping for like very rare produce. There's very few foods like vegetables and stuff here and grains. It's mostly just fruits that you can buy or meats. But in the markets, everything's spicy and smells of all kinds of delicacies cooking in open markets. And there are dinosaurs kind of walking the streets, bridled and carrying like wagons and stuff before you. And there's lots of different races assembled here. There's humans, dwarves, there's elves, there's orcs, Aarakocra, there's tabaxi, there's everything here. And so you all fit in really well. It's probably close to 100 degrees today, Fahrenheit. That's someone who uses probably Celsius, but I don't know the translation off the top of my head.
Means really hot.
That would be 37 Celsius, which is pretty warm.
Yeah, it's pretty warm. Anybody who's accustomed to wearing cloaks back home, in here, this is the type of city you would want to wear loose robes or scantily dressed, just because of how hot it is. So Nyani, you return with the papers, and pretty much just to kind of skip you along, the next step would be to assemble your party into getting all the gear you'll need to go into the jungle. Here on the docks, there's several different, like there's fishermen, there's schooners, there's all kinds of things. But if you're going to go into the jungles of Chult, you'll need to roll a little bit of history to try to figure out the best ways to do this. So who would like to roll an investigation check?
Investigation or history?
You could roll either, actually. You'll get different information based off of each of those rolls.
I'll try and roll investigation or
Okay.
history.
So take your pick and roll one. So Stella, you are going through the markets and trying to find a place that has almost like a library. Coming from Zandrettan, the libraries over there in that city are enormous, well-maintained, well-organized, and there's people to help you. Here, there doesn't even seem to be anything with the word library on it. Not even a map in the town square. You spend the day trying to find information on kind of the region, and you don't even have a place that you can find to do that research. So you come back after a afternoon, hot and sweaty and just a little let down from your research. Rust, however, you have been looking around the docks, and you find that if you wanted to go into the jungle, it's extremely dangerous. There's lots of undead that just kind of roam there. There used to be apparently some war that happened, and the slain armies that just got kind of swallowed up by the jungle have been reanimated, and there's almost some sort of deity level necromancer out there. Something is kind of what the rumors are, and it's just become a way of life. If you leave the city edge, you could go into Maller's Throat, which is kind of more like a slums, where the city is just kind of spilled past the walls. And then a little bit beyond that is the jungles, and that's where they have kind of a lot of guards to prevent any wandering zombies from coming into the city. But if you go into the jungles, that's definitely a risk that you'll encounter. Most likely is some sort of undead things. There is a base camp created by a kind of a sect of paladins, and they sailed up the river, which I can transfer you over to a map of Chult itself. Oops, that has some of my notes. But you're up here in Port Nyanzaru. There is a camp called Camp Righteous, which is very aptly named by these paladins, and it is about a 19 square hex travel up the river or down River Soshan Star. 19 days of travel, or 19 hexes, is equivalent to about 190 miles. So it's quite a ways down there. But you would discover that is probably a good location if you're wanting to set up kind of a botany research team base camp in the jungle, which is kind of what your goal is. That sounds like a kind of a military installation anyway, so it's defensible. They've kind of cleared out an area, so to speak. So that might make a good spot to make your camp.
Okay, that's good to know.
Can Nisali roll a perception check to see if there are anybody selling any maps of the area that she could collect and start building her own map off of?
Yeah, I would say that's more of an investigation check because
Sure.
you'd be going through the city trying to find a kind of a cartographer's shop or something. So you can roll on an investigation.
Okay.
Can I also ask if Stella could go with you?
I would also join to look to see what kind of fish that would be up the river that would be good for eating.
Okay. So, Nisali, why don't you roll with advantage since Stella is going with you, and then Nayani. I would think that
Nature or history?
I'd say nature probably if you're trying to go through like the markets and try to see kind of what stuff is out there. You're all rolling so well.
They look like ocean
Great sign.
fish. This is not river fish.
Yep, these are all harvested out in the harbor a little bit away, and they're all prepared foods, so they don't even look normal. They're all being cooked and fried, so you don't find much. The cartography, anything that's around it looks to be just of the city. There's nothing really outside of Port Nyanzaru. Rust has had the most success with his investigations, so he would tell you about the Camp Righteous and the river. The way to get up there is probably by river. And you would all know, just because you've been hanging out in the harbor district, that there's boats for hire or boats that you can purchase. And you have a total of 250 gold, which is funded. You're basically the extent of how much funds you have access to from the ZBRC.
I would like to buy a fishing rod.
Okay. That will be 1 gold piece. Do you spend that with your own money, or do you use the group fund?
I will use my own money.
Okay, you can get a fishing rod.
Stella, while twirling her hair with her fingers, gonna look at Niani and say, "So, when are we gonna go buy a boat?"
We don't buy a boat, we hire a boat.
Okay, so when do we go pay money to hire a boat?
After I buy the fishing rod.
Can I go with you? It's so pretty out here.
I do not see why not.
Okay. So if you're going over to the docks, there are many different types of sizes of boats. If you kind of ask around on different styles, you have basically 4 different options you can use. There's the dugout canoes, which are basically 1-person boats. They're extremely agile and fast. However, they're not super durable. Like if you get into rapids or something, it's the potential of it flipping. Then there are the outrigger canoes, which are a lot more sturdy. And then these can actually hold 2 people in them and a little bit more supplies. Then they have the larger river boats.
Can we go see the people and ask them if they have been up the river to camp? What is the camp name again?
Camp Righteous.
Camp Righteous. Yes, that's
Camp Righteous.
So roll a
Per
D10 for me.
who?
2. So you find that there is a guide hanging about by the boats. Her name is Azaka, and she looks to be a human. I don't know if I have the handout for this. Let me go find it very quick. But she will charge you five gold per day, requiring 30-day gold fee up front. And she says that she's been up into the jungles of Chult, and it's not an easy venture. But she would be able to go with you for the right price.
Can I use persuasion to get a better deal?
You can
What's your
try.
What's your persuasion at, Niani?
+5.
Mine is 2. I'll give you advantage by being in there.
Advantage.
That's allowed.
Yep. If you're both out there at the docks.
20.
Okay. So she will look from one to the other. This is her. And she will be willing to kind of calculate. If you're going up to Camp Righteous, that is about 175 miles, I think. If we take a riverboat, and she starts doing the math in her head, and she says that she will get you a discount, not on her rate, but on the total amount, because she says it won't take them quite a month. It'll take her about 10 days or so, maybe 9, to get you up the river. So she'll only require a 10 gold fee, or 10-day fee, which is 50 gold.
You think that is a fair price? I ask Stella.
Stella gives you a look. I don't see why not. It beats the other price, doesn't it?
Indeed. I would pay that much.
All right, then we shall have a deal. So Azaka will kind of stand aside and point out the different boats. And you will need, if you're going to have 5 people in your party, you'll need to get a boat that can accommodate at least 5 people, or by multiple.
So we have to buy our own boats?
She does not have the boats. And I think I made it so these different styles should show up in everyone's journals.
What does the guide recommend?
Ooh.
I would recommend a river barge. There are rapids in the rivers that will be able to take it the best. It's slower, but it can hold us all with supplies.
Indeed. Adrian, how are we supposed to get back from Camp Righteous? I'm not entirely sure on our mission.
Well, if you go all the way up to there, you can take the boat back. You also don't have to go all the way down. Your goals are to find rare specimens of plants, wildlife, map the river as much as you can, and other areas. And if you wanted to not go all the way down there, you'll get paid for basically everything that you find. So if you go to, here, I'll put you on the map here for a second. So if you only want to go down part of the way of the river and then like make a camp there and then explore off into the jungle or anything that you find and bring back, you'll get paid for it.
So how much gold is it for the guide today?
The guide is 50 gold for 10 days.
So that would take all of our money if we did that, and I only have 10 gold on my person.
Your party fund is 250 gold.
Yeah, so so it would take all of our gold if we did the river barge plus her. Right?
Nyani, if
Matt?
I may,
Go ahead.
maybe we should try and get a deal on the big boat that the guide is recommending too.
Indeed, I will ask. Excuse me. But I can I roll persuasion for that?
Yep. So it's a different vendor. So yeah, you'd go up to the boat person. Now you're wanting to look at the actual river barge or the river boat?
The one she recommended first.
Okay, so that's the tier 3 one. That's the river boat. This one.
No, I thought she recommended the barge. Right?
The barge is the slowest, but it's the most sturdy. She recommended the boat.
Oh.
And then there's also the canoes. There's 2 smaller canoes.
She could get us up safely in the boat, is what she said.
That's the safest one that she would consider. If you wanted to get outrigger canoes, that's like the step down, but they are faster, so it'd take less time to get up there.
So, sorry, it's the river boat she recommended?
Yeah, so there's the level 1 is the dugout canoes. Those are extremely fast, but they also don't hold very much, and they can capsize fairly easily. Then there's the outrigger canoes, then the river boat, and then the river barge.
Okay. Excuse me. How much for the river boat? And is there a deal we could strike for it?
So the vendor tells you that it's 125 gold for that barge, or for the river boat, the tier 3 one. It can hold up to 6 people. It's got 5 storage supply slots. So for like food and water supplies, you can basically carry 5 slots worth of gear. And then it goes 2 miles an hour. So if you travel 10 hours a day, that's 20 miles. So that's where she gets the math for about 10 days.
Could I get a bit of a discount, please?
You can roll persuasion, and then I presume with advantage.
Mm-hmm. I'm right here.
Double 22.
Okay.
Wow.
Yep. She will give you a 20% discount with that. So that will shrink the price from. So that'll be 100 gold instead.
Do you think that is, and then I go to Mackenzie's character, because she seemed the most worried about the price. Do you think this is a fair price?
100 gold?
100 gold.
Yes, I think that price is fair.
150 in total.
Yes, that gives us 100 left in case we need to purchase anything more.
It is good to have emergency funds.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Your guide will recommend that you stock up on additional supplies before you guys head out. She recommends to you that rations are obviously important, especially as you go up the river. It becomes undrinkable without proper preparations. So bringing kegs of water and like edible rations and stuff are important. She can try to forage and stuff for it, but also she's fairly hesitant to go off the river too much.
Is there a way to purify the water?
Apart from boiling it with fire, you can get a rain slot. We can get a rain catcher that would be able to restock us if based off of it raining. Besides that, I think we might be able to find a clean stream, but the river itself is going to be tainted.
Very strange. Isn't it usually upriver when it is cleaner?
Not in Chult. The darkness of the jungle is tainted it, and so it bleeds down. The closer you get actually to here to the city and to the ocean is where it actually gets clearer. But the further you go upstream, the more poisoned it is.
Very strange.
Strange
Um,
indeed.
Yeah, we're gonna want to get supplies, and probably, in addition to ways to purify it as well, because better safe than sorry.
Okay. So you, if with the boat that you got, you can get basically 5 different types of things that are, you can use them however much you want. So like if you want to have like 2 supplies of water, 1 supply is enough for your trip to get down there. But if you wanted to get extra, then it would take 2 supplies. So you can get rations, water, and any other gear that you want. Between like your botany kits and cartographer's tools and stuff like that, if you wanted to bring all that gear with you, then that would take 1 supply slot, and that would give you like jars and all kinds of record-keeping materials.
We're looking at our tools and supplies which are necessary, at least 1 water slot, at least 1 food slot. Can we also get a slot that deals with like any tents and bedding as well?
If you wanted to use a slot for that, you could. The boat itself is fit to sleep on and stuff with it. You can lower down like mosquito nettings and stuff if you wanted to, and sleep on the boat. Or if you wanted to make camps off the river, then you would need to get those supplies. Yes.
Can I get? Go ahead.
I was gonna say, don't all of us have bedrolls and/or like blankets to sleep with?
But yeah, do I need to take up a slot for that to be in?
Not unless you're getting non-normal stuff. I don't know
okay.
if your starting gear comes with tents or not. Since you're hiring Azaka, she will tell you that sleeping out in there, you will want to have some form of either tent or insect repellents, just because of the amount of critters that are in the jungle. You do not want to get eaten alive by insects.
I think. How long are we going to be off river?
About 10 days.
It sounds like it
10
would be
days
safer
back.
if we just slept on the boat.
That would be my recommendation.
Can I buy a tent or like a makeshift tent for just from my money for my persons?
If you're just wanting to get like a normal one, it would be the same as the player's handbook pricing, but it's times 1.5, just because everything in Chult is a little bit more expensive.
Those gouging motherfuckers.
Yep. Welcome to Chult.
Thankfully, Russ doesn't have any need for this propaganda.
Hey, Adrian, I don't know how to manage my money on this.
There's a money page, but do you know how much you have?
No idea.
Are you on D&D Beyond?
Yeah.
Just go to equipment. On the right-hand side, it says currency.
Equipment. It says I don't have anything. I don't think that's right.
You should have like a starting adventurers pack. An adventurers pack, or explorers rather, comes with a bedroll, backpack, water skin, some rations, but it doesn't have a tent. So if you wanted to get a tent, it would be 3 gold.
Tents only cost 3 gold?
A 2-person tent is marked as 2 gold in player's handbook, so it'd be 3 gold here.
Oh, then Celibate will also buy a tent.
Yeah.
Okay, so that will take an extra supply slot for you to get that kind of extra gear. So you have water, rations, botany, tents, and
water,
camping supplies.
the water purification kind of fit in with some of the other stuff like the tent and the daily supplies?
What kind of purification are you wanting to do? Because a water slot is basically just like a big keg of already purified water. It's like rations of water. So if you wanted to get something to purify, what did you have in mind?
Just like some cheesecloth for the large debris, and then like a pan to boil out any bad stuff. And what is a water catcher exactly?
It's
Rain
like
catcher.
It's basically like a canvas that would be hooked up over the top of the boat and funnel rainwater into a keg. So if you're wanting to get that kind of mixed in with that, you can use the last slot for water catching / big vats to boil water in. That's fine. So that would be your 5th supply slot.
I'm wondering that fits like onto the side of the boat. Okay.
It'd be on top of the boat and then funnels down onto like here. Like it'd be right on top of the canopy basically, and then there's like a little spout that it goes down into a keg. So you have used all 5 supply slots. So Azaka is going to ask when you want to go underway.
After I hear about the fish in the river, what fish are in the river and what can I eat?
Any of the colorful ones should be fine to eat. The ones that are more ravenous or poisoned tend to not have their shine any longer.
Okay.
Do you wish to set out?
What's the name of the tool that you use to light like a torch and stuff like that? I keep thinking flint, but I can't find it.
Tinderbox.
Tinderbox. It's right under tent.
Thank you.
But also, you do have night vision as a tabaxi. In fact, I think all of us have night vision. Don't Arakocras get night vision?
Arakocra do not get dark vision.
Okay.
Do they have better vision despite not having dark vision?
No, they just have eyes.
So are there any other supplies that you would like to obtain before you set sail?
I will also buy a tinderbox.
So fire starting tools. Wise choice.
Let's see.
Rust. Actually, wait. Rust isn't here right now. Rust is busy.
What is Rust busy doing?
Probably trying to start some shit.
Okay, roll a intimidation check.
Oh, good. I have proficiency in intimidation.
Oh my
It
god.
helped.
Yeah, you get into a scuffle with some guards, which seem to be harassing somebody else who turned out to be pickpocketing somebody. And so there's kind of this mishmash of kind of people yelling at each other, and you end up scaring the guards away and letting the pickpocket escape. But you find yourself actually a depiction of you being posted on the town board with a wanted poster along with the pickpocket.
Rust will tear down the picture of himself and themselves. Rust is non-binary. Rust will take the picture of themselves and keep it as a reminder of the fun.
Chult souvenir.
Roll a stealth check.
Del.
The guards, you hear them shout from across the marketplace and start to give chase. Hey, it's that bird! There's some dust clouds and just different movement of like there's a stegosaurus with giant saddlebags. Kind of you jump in front of it and kind of start running away, making your way back to the docks. But the guards seem to be the guards are in pursuit, but with a little bit of druid craft, you can grow some plants and hide behind them or something, and then you get away. But it seems like the guards are now looking for you.
Good. Rust considers this positive interaction.
So you make your way back to your base camp here, the little hovel, and you find Niseli, Niani, and Stella, and a new person, Azaka, who's busy packing her own bags.
Azaka's a human, right?
Yes.
Who's this?
Oh, she is to be our guide.
Huh.
She looks at Rust very, skeptically.
I start coughing with the fur ball. Excuse me.
Stella is actively spacing out and using prestidigitation to draw a bunny on the wall.
Well, I think now that we've all got this out of our system, it is time to shove off.
Oh, we're leaving? Alright.
That sounds like a good idea. The guards are currently actively looking for Rust.
Adrian
Why are they
actually
looking for
Wait,
you?
what?
For reasons.
it is not smart man. Because he is bird. He has bird brain.
I'll
But
have
if-
you know that my intelligence modifier is an exact nothing.
You just see Niseli is she's got both of her paws on her face, and she just slowly brings them down. She's pulling her entire face down, and then she claps her hands together and she goes, "So, boat? We're getting on the boat,
Actually-
right?"
Before we shove off, I wanna double check that we know what we're looking for before we leave. Like, we don't need any books about plants to know what we're looking for, or we already have a set of books.
Yeah, you would have. The big part of this is that you're trying to find unlisted plants, like new discoveries and stuff like that.
I
So
see.
There's you have a lot of material for cataloging them, whether they're animals, plants, or again, there's the cartography to actually map some of these rivers and get exact measurements. All of that stuff are things that you will be able to turn get for. But you don't necessarily have a check mark find this specific thing. It's more find new stuff.
We're just looking for things that no one's seen before, right?
Precisely.
I think
New
we
and
are.
unusual.
I think we are ready to shove off.
Okay. Azaka leads the way back to the boat where you've been able to leave without any hindrances, just barely. You can find there's guards looking kind of house to house, but you're watching from the water as you shove off and you set sail.
Rust would like to show off his wanted poster to the gang.
I told you he has bird brain.
Look at how cool they made my eyes, though.
Stella's gonna
See
look at
Rust's
Rust.
eyes.
Stella's gonna look at Rust and go, "Hey, Rust, can you do me a favor?
What do you need?
Please shut up. I'm trying to enjoy the weather."
Fair enough. Rust rolls softly.
But they did your nose wrong. The nose holes
It's
are
really
in.
more of a beak.
The nose holes are in the wrong block.
Oh my god, I just realized this map is animated.
Rust, I
I've been
told-
bothered green this entire time.
Oh my gosh, Russ, I told you to stop. Wow, the water's so pretty. Look at the way it sparkles in the sunlight.
Be
it's
careful
so
of the
pretty out here.
animals on the side.
What? Oh, yeah, right, sure. The sky, look at the clouds.
Are there any fish? I want to be fishing off the back of the boat.
Okay. You can roll a fishing check, which I guess would be survival.
Survival? Dang, can I use nature?
No.
Dang it! 1!
You happen to see a fish, but it does not bite towards you, and because the canoe is starting to kind of coast into the actual river instead, and if you're going against stream, so it's taking kind of a lot of work, which luckily you have a guide to do a lot of the rowing for you. But yeah, you begin to make your way up, and for the first leg of the journey,
If fishing sucks, I'm going to play my fishy lute.
Hey, Nyani, can I try catching the fish?
Sure, I will play inspiration music for you.
Oh, you're so sweet. Oh my gosh.
I inspire her to fish. So I
sure.
play my lute. Where's my inspiration? This needs to happen.
It's a D6. So I just added D6 to this roll. Do you want to say anything or play
Yes.
anything like as a bard to inspire me?
I'm going to play you a fishy song that will inspire all the fish to come see what's going on and become my dinner. It's my
Sounds
fish
good.
lute.
Go ahead.
Okay. I mean, it's not good, but it's better than what you rolled. Whole
It's better
eight.
than what I rolled.
Up to an 8. An 8 is actually enough to land a small fish. It's something that you can use as a meal, but it's nothing exotic, so there wouldn't be any benefit to cataloging it. But you can find some sort of river fish. That's
As long as it's edible.
Can
serves enough for one meal.
Nisali, as she's going to she's gonna perch on top of the on top of like the hut that's on the ship. She's gonna sit up there and start working on her cartography. But as she's walking by, can she give the fishing pole a swing and see if she can catch something before she goes onto the rooftops and starts working?
Sure.
Stella will hold her very tiny fish and go, "Oh my gosh, I caught something. Here, you try."
Okay.
Yeah,
Shoop.
you land a good one. And then actually with the 22, you catch a kind of a shimmery orange-looking one, which almost kind of looks more like a salmon, except a little bit more plump. And it looks to be a jungle fish, which you can.
Can I roll nature on it?
Yeah.
Would I be able to tell from my write down like on my nature and make a paper about this fish before I eat
Yep.
it?
You can note it down. You can probably sketch it with your tool. Actually, I guess. Does anyone have, or would anybody be proficient in like painting-ish type things, or?
The cartographer.
Would that be sleight of hand?
I would just say if you want to have it, then you can have it. That would make sense for someone's character to be able to paint or like document. Since there's no pictures, like sketching or drawing is probably the next best.
Well, I'm definitely going to draw it and sketch it and do a nice diagram of it, and then I'm going to leave a food review.
Nisali pulls it off the line, hands the line back to Stella, and then like throws the fish at Nani, who's like in the process of drawing it. She's like, "Here, take a better look at it." Floop, and like smacks her straight in the face, and then just laughs and climbs on top of the.
Can I make a dex saving throw?
Bloop.
Can
Sure,
Stella
you can
try
do it.
fishing again?
24. I catch the fish.
Yes.
Pardon you, party.
Yep. So you can catalog one river fish exotic.
River fish, river fish.
And yeah, if you want to keep fishing, I'm going to shift you back over to the map. So the riverboat, it goes fairly slow upstream, so you should be able to see here. One day on the boat is going to get you up to from the port around the peninsula, and then up ahead you can see that there's kind of the river narrowing up ahead and getting much more closer into the jungle. And so with kind of dusk, your guide starts to pull the boat off to the side, unless you want to try to push on through the nights and stuff. But it seems like it's been a steady first day of travel, unless you want to make any like escapades into the jungle. Well, you're not really super into the jungle yet, but if you want to go off and explore it, you can, or you can just set camp and set out the next day.
Well, if I'm not setting up the fire, then I would look for plants, but I don't know if someone else is going to be setting up for dinner.
Can I roll for my cartographer's tools to see how good the first portion of the map turns out to be?
Sure.
Sweet.
Rust. Do you know how to cook?
I know how to eat food. Rust knows how to eat food. Rust keeps forgetting
10.
that they're meant to be in the third person.
Can you start a fire? That won't burn down the forest.
Yes, Rust can, in fact, light a campfire.
Can you build one?
Rust never said anything about building one. Rust is more for one for dismantling the patriarchy. Or
There is
matriarchy, or anybody in authority.
there is no immortal queen who lives here for you to dismantle.
Hey, Rust, can you do me a favor?
Is it shut up again? No. I'm gonna go on about a spiel about dismantling the authoritarian rule that drives down the downtrodden, and I'm
Oh,
hoping I
please
can
tell me
sound-
more. I'm so interested in what you're saying.
So two things. So Rust, can you roll a persuasion check? And then Nisteli, you're doing a decent job getting the map kind of drawn. You're keeping good notes, rather. You're not necessarily drawing a map at this point. However, as Azanka is parking the boat and kind of mooring it up into one of these kind of low-hanging trees or over the river edge, she seems to be listening with interest and nodding along with Rust.
After my several-minute-long speech,
I never
Rust sort
knew.
of calms down and just goes, long story short, yes, Rust can light a campfire.
Oh, thank God. That was so amazing. I'm so glad that you did that.
Thank you.
Wow,
I'm
Rust,
glad
you're
that people
so
under-
amazing. I can't believe how cool you are. Please keep talking. I love to hear your voice.
I'm ignoring you.
What she's
do
saying.
Looking at the plants that are around our product boat.
I'm rolling so well tonight.
You are. You're rocking this tonight.
I want to say also that while Russ is talking, Stella's like playing tic-tac-toe against herself on his forehead. No, please keep talking.
Stella,
Is she
this has
winning?
been a long trip for you.
She lost.
Anyway, yes. If a campfire can be made, Rust will set it
Okay.
alight with Druidcraft.
Yeah, it's just Druidcraft.
Yep, so you're able to kind of set up a side camp there. Just so the boat's moored up to the riverbank, you're able to climb over and kind of find a spot to set up a campfire. Go ahead and roll a survival check, and then Yanni, if you're going to go looking around the camp, you can also roll a survival check.
Oh, I rolled nature.
Oh, nature's fine too. Yeah, 19. Yeah, so
Yeah.
you're able to find and document a lot of the foliage and stuff around. There's nothing exotic in this area. You're still fairly close to the river mouth. If Rust would like to roll that survival, and then are Stella and Naceli doing anything or staying on the ship?
Once once Nacella has figured out what's
Yep, there it is.
what's going on with the map and stuff like that, and kind of getting her notes all laid out, she will go over and help Rust. So Rust roll with advantage.
He better.
Oh, good.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah, that's enough to not have something bad happen. So you're able to
Can I-
find a spot for the campfire. What was that?
Can I do Bardic Inspiration real quick?
What do you
Very
shout?
sarcastic. Stella walks off and sees Rust and Nacella trying to make the fire, and she gives a very sarcastic thumbs up and goes, "Come on, Rust, you can do it. I believe in you."
Rust, do not use the wet rocks. They will explode.
Yeah, if you want to add your D6 rust. So you're able to find a spot that you could light, and there's actually a good bit of dried leaves and stuff. So you can start the fire, but it's kind of like almost 50 paces away from the riverbank. So it's not ideal. You can kind of have an evening kind of campfire, roast the fish and any trail rations and stuff. Azaka opts to stay at the boat. So if anybody else wants to stay in the boat, you can, or if you want to go to the camp, it's just a little bit a ways away.
I have decided I do not trust his fire, and I will eat my fish raw.
Okay, are you staying on the boat?
After looking at his fire, yes.
Okay, how about Stella and Nacelle and Rust?
Stella's gonna look around, look over at Russ and Sally, look back over at Niani, and since she's interacted with Niani the most, she's just gonna walk back to the boat.
Did anybody else want the small fish?
I mean, Stella never got rid of the small fish.
Okay,
Put it aside. I mean, she'll go back and look at, I guess, find you, Niani, and ask if you want to split the fish so that we're both not just eating rations.
Fish are better fresh. I would eat it before it gets hot out.
Right. So are we split the fish, or?
Why not?
All right, cool.
Okay.
Didn't the two
How
of you
about-
buy tents?
We did.
Why-
I bought a tent. Oh yeah, I have a tent. Shoot.
Why are you sleeping on the boat if you bought a tent?
Question: is it more comfortable to sleep in a tent or in the boat? We'll roll survival.
With
For the-
padding and the tent, you think that would be more comfortable? So you can roll out your bedroll the full length.
The boat?
No, the tent.
Oh, in the boat. Okay, sorry, it cut out. Should I roll survival for finding a good tent location?
Okay. Yep. Yeah, you find one. It's still a little bit a ways away from where the boat is, but you could set up a tent.
I will remove any rocks that are in my tent area.
Stella will fall asleep, but I know it's not going to go well. Oh,
Ha! It did.
So Stella, you find actually a little bit further up the bank rather than inland in the jungle. You find kind of a natural kind of rock that's kind of pride rock style sticking up over the river a little bit. It's not at an angle that's too
I like
bad.
this.
So you can set up your tent there. And with the natural 20, you will also notice that there's some unique looking spiky red fruits that are hanging in the trees above you.
oh my gosh, that's such an amazing rock. This is my rock now. I'll sleep here tonight. What is that? Whoa, that's so cool. I should probably take that for later.
You
Oh,
inform us of your finding, or do you just kind of?
I mean,
I imagine you Stella it, so probably you don't tell us.
I bet she
Stella's
eats
gonna
it.
like absent-mindedly pick the fruit and put it away and go. Like she'll pick it, look at it, put it down, and go. I'm gonna go get the others, and she'll start walking and go. I'm tired. I should go to bed.
Yep. So you find these almost watermelon-sized kind of flaky fruits, which are pretty yummy and taste like mango once you peel them. But that is another type of thing that you can note down in your logbook. Jay and Nacelle, are you staying in the boat tonight?
Well, Nacelle doesn't have she doesn't have a tent, so she would actually stay up. She would stay up for a little while, kind of chatting with Rust, and then she will excuse herself to go sleep under one of the nets in the boat.
I will offer to Nisteli, since she is my brethren, but sisterin, Yanin, to offer to share my two-part intent.
She'll like offer you a very polite smile and then slowly say, you know, it's been a very, very long time since I've had the pleasure of sleeping on a boat, so it's
Very well. There is no need to explain.
thank you
I
for
hope
being
you
understanding.
rest well.
I will probably have the best night's sleep I've had in about 10 years.
Good night.
Good night.
And that just leaves Rust.
Rust will probably try to sleep on the boat as well, because not even they trust their campfire.
So,
Like, they haven't got the ego to admit it, but they don't trust it.
okay. Well, on that note, Rust, why don't you roll a percentile dice for me?
You
Don't
put the
light
fire out.
Did you put the fire out?
Oh yeah, Rust puts the fire out, dude.
Okay.
That's fine.
Percentile.
Okay. Nothing
77.
happens. The night passes. With dawn, you hear all kinds of bird cries and non-normal sound effects that you would normally experience anywhere up in the mainlands. But down here in the jungle, it's getting to be the new normal as you hear bird calls, the river kind of rushing, and then you hear a roar in the distance, some sort of bestial, dynamic roar, which sounds a little bit like this.
Oh
But
shit.
it's fairly far away still.
I think I will ask the guide what makes that noise.
So your guide definitely is trying to get the boat going again. Anybody wanting to hang about or just jump on and set sail?
Would Stella wake up at the noise, or is she already awake?
Yep. Everybody wakes up from a peaceful long rest. The tents can be fairly easily taken down. Just takes a couple of minutes. The roar that you heard was somewhere off in the distance in the jungle. So it's nothing on you or anywhere really close by, but there's something out there.
Stella gets back to the boat and goes, Yanni, I just remembered I have something really cool to tell you. Oh wait, hang on, I'm really hungry. Hey, you want some fruit?
What did you find?
Oh, that's what it was. This fruit. I'm gonna call it a sweet silver spike because it's spiky like the sun, but it tastes like mangoes.
What did the plant look like?
She'll hold one up like this big thing I'm holding.
Not the fruit, the plant.
Oh, it was in a tree?
Can I go get samples of the tree?
You can. It is not the one that you're looking for, but you can document it, and that is something that you will be able to document down into the notebooks. The boat sets sail, and because you're a little bit further downstream, you can kind of just jump on as soon as it's starting to pass. And Azaka is starting to steer it to the middle of the river and eye everything warily.
Can I teach Stella about getting information on the plant as well as the fruit? So
Sure.
that way she actually takes information on what the plant looks like and teach her this. She seems to be having a problem.
Oh no, I'm not having a problem. Trust me, I promise you, I'm totally paying attention. I made a mental note of that. It's okay.
What do I roll if I believe her?
Insight.
I'm probably gonna believe you because I have a -1 insight. Yeah, I believe you.
So
Stella smiles and bats her eyelashes. I'll do it next time, I promise.
So Azaka, as you go into the jungle and it's getting closer on both sides, you can feel the rapids kind of starting to pick up. Azaka sits to the back of the helm and uses an extra oar to help steer, and she is going to ask for your assistance with piloting this ship, essentially. So she'll do the steering, but she's going to need 2 people to help with oars, and then she'll need to have a navigator who can perch on top of the boat and kind of look to see where the rapids are. And then there is a 3rd person who is going to be also kind of percepting, but for other like dangers and stuff as you're getting into the jungle.
I have 12 for strength, and my passive perception is a 9. I'd rather row than try to find things.
My passive perception is a 13. I am actually efficient in navigator's tools as well. So I would think that my navigation skills would be pretty good. So I think putting Naceli on top and having her be the navigator would be a good idea.
Okay, so we have Stella on one of the oars, Naceli helping kind of navigate. Then we just need to have kind of the guard and then another person rowing.
Rust's passive perception is 15, so he'll be on the lookout.
Okay.
And his strength is -1, so you know.
Okay, so I guess Nyani is stuck on the other oar. So everybody please roll an athletics check, perception check, or survival check, respectively. Naceli, you can use your cartographer tools if you have an actual skill for that.
I do.
Great.
Dex, and I'm proficient. 18.
Okay, so between both Stella and Nyani and Azaka kind of steering from the back, you collectively are able
Adrian,
to steer.
I was muted.
Oh, wait, you want to backtrack?
Yes, I was wondering why people weren't answering me. I wanted to give Stella Bardic Inspiration and ask her to give me Bardic Inspiration.
I will gladly give you Bardic Inspiration if you give me Bardic Inspiration. God knows I need it.
Sorry, I'm like, why are they not listening to me? I'm talking here.
That's fair. Go ahead and roll your inspirations.
D6. Me, that's mine.
Okay, Stella would say to you, Nyani, because I feel like as a bard, it's something that I like to do. If your rowing is half as good as how pretty you are, then you're a really good rower.
Ooh. So that will bring it to a 5, 12, and then plus Azaka steering in the back. So you are able to navigate and curve this kind of heavier boat left and right around the rocks. Naceli is plotting kind of the best course between the rapids, and there's a couple smaller forks in the river, and you can actually avoid one of the larger rapid portions by going down the second fork, which is a little smaller and kind of detours a little, but rejoins later on, and you're able to navigate that. Now, Rust, as you kind of get through this period of rapids, and you're coming back to more stiller waters, you can see that the waters are a little bit more clear here after the rapids. And in the basin of the shallows, you can see there are many different types of fish. None that really look super aggressive or anything, but there actually is a couple notable ones that might be worth recording. And with you rolled a 22, you can roll 1d4 for exotic fish to see and find.
Can I
Then
get...
I shall.
Oh, do we not have time for me to get the net and try to catch it?
You can try now that you're kind of past the rapids. You can do so if you wish. You kind of come to a calmer portion of the river.
I would like to try to catch the fish.
Okay, that would be a survival check again.
Is it possible for me to use some of the netting to use that, or not possible?
I would say you would need help, but maybe you can do it with advantage.
Rust will help out.
Okay, then definitely, because Rust, you've got wings, so you can kind of fly out above the river and help place it strategically. So you can roll with advantage for survival.
Rust, what is your survival?
Survival is +3.
Can he roll it?
With advantage.
All right then. Rust is going to catch some fish, hopefully.
Can I give him bardic
Rust
inspiration?
caught some fish.
Yes, you're able to catch actually all 4 of them through this method. And you can find one that's kind of a shining silver, one that's got kind of a purpley hue to it. There's another one of those gold ones, and then there's a 4th one, which looks like the color shimmers and changes when exposed to sunlight. It looks more like a rainbow fish.
Without a shadow of a doubt, these are definitely fish.
Okay, sorry. There's a purple fish, a rainbow fish.
Yep, another one of the
Exotic
I think it said
orange.
it was goldish. Yeah, like a orangey one. And then, so you are able to catalog a little bit more of these wild fishes. And then in these kind of softer areas of the stream, Nacelle, you can record in your cartography. The 18 is very sufficient. So this kind of passes the second day as you are traveling down this river. So I've marked it down. Again, it's going to be time for you to set camp. Do you wish to basically repeat the same as yesterday? A couple of you on the boat, couple of you on the tents.
Sounds good to Rust.
Okay.
If you again look for the plants.
Okay. As you kind of get out of the boat, as she's docked it or moored it up against the kind of trees, you can see these giant, almost mangrove trees sticking out, blocking everything out. It's very dark. Luckily, your dark vision, you can still kind of see it. If you want to make a survival check, you can go ahead.
Survival?
Yes. Or nature, that's fine.
Sorry. I rolled it before I asked.
Sure. Nature's fine for this too. So for a 15, you do find a couple more pieces of like ferns and stuff, but it looks to be nothing super exotic. You could note it down maybe, but it's not the plant that you were looking for, and it's also not super unique, you could say. Roll a perception check. Roll percentile dice.
Oh no.
Oh dear Lord, help me. 61.
Eh.
Even. Nice and even. Ish.
So you don't necessarily see anything. You're kind of crouching down amongst a couple of the different like plant life down on the forest floor. When you need to roll a Constitution saving throw, please.
Oh crap.
As you hear kind of a shimmer from behind you. Just enough. You feel kind of almost like kind of a creeping feeling on the back of your neck, and you kind of like immediately brush it off, almost like it was a spider or something. But you just whisk off a whole bunch of this dust, and you look around and you can see that your back and left arm is covered with kind of an orange powder, and you can see that there's kind of a fairly large orange flower bud hanging over you. And it's not one that you'd seen right away because you've been focused more like on the ground, but this one seems to be hanging down from the tree a little bit. And it's a huge, big orange flower bud, which is just kind of leaking out this pollen or dust on top of you.
I thought it was a spider or a bug at one point. Because stupid Noah put a link to creepy bugs, and I stupidly watched it.
Oh, I missed that video. That sounds like a lot of fun.
So, what do you do?
I get rid of the dust off my arm first. Move out of the reach of said dusty plant.
Okay. As you're moving away, you can see that a second bud is kind of hanging a little bit above it and kind of penetrates through the jungle roof. And this one's a yellow blood, and this one spits out at you.
Can I make a dex saving throw with my extremely fast cat ninja speed?
You are going
just
to need to.
Meow out of it, like, like scare a cat and they literally jump straight up, but this time like straight back, and that fur on the back of my neck is sticking straight up. Like, I don't even need to dust off my arm anymore because my hair just kind of flung it off with.
Go ahead. Yeah, this yellow bud kind of, it's probably the size of like almost a chair, the sizes of these buds, but this one kind of is hanging down, and as you like see it, you kind of spring and it shoots out almost like a ichor, a yellow sticky sap, and that's enough to where you can just kind of jump out of the way with your feline grace.
And I action feline agility. I move on my turn, and I can double my speed until the end of my turn.
Just want to prance and gallop all the way back to the river.
I am shocked kitty-ified.
Yeah. So you get back to the boat, and you can see your guide. You can see your Tabaxi friend and your Aarakocra friend. You're back at the boat. Everybody else sees Niani coming back with her hair like sticking up.
You look like you're in a hurry. What happened?
I do not want to talk about it.
Okay. Did you see how pretty the stars are tonight?
I was more looking down, unfortunately.
Oh. What were you looking down at? Oh, wait, you don't want to talk about it. Look up with me, the stars. Aren't they pretty?
And I start thinking of safe ways to get samples and drawing a picture of creepy plants.
Oh, the ones that kind of quote attacked you, unquote.
Or do I need to roll history to know if these plants are known or not?
You can roll a nature check, I suppose.
Okay. 20.
For this one, you've never seen one before, but you have heard of it, and it seems to be. It was a tri-flower frond is something that it seems to fit the two budded attack. It seemed to match the description, though you must assume there might have been maybe a third one. But these huge plants are carnivorous.
What do they do?
Based off of your experience, they try to poison / stun you, then sticky you so you're stuck there and start getting acidized, and then they eat you.
I do not want samples. That sounds terrifying.
Can you say that out loud?
There is a terrifying tri-flower frond. It's a stupid plant.
Wow.
It tries to eat
It
you.
sounds like a really... Oh, that doesn't sound very nice. Let's not go near it. Look at the stars. It's almost like they make some kind of shape.
Actually, Adrian, would I know if I would want samples of this terrifying plant?
You would know that this is something that has been talked about here in Chult, but you'd never heard of it anywhere else. You figure it would be something good to document. Whether you want to kill it or not, that's up to you. You can just go and sketch it and stuff if you want.
Do we have test tubes?
Yeah, you've got all of that stuff in your supply kit.
I would like to get samples.
Okay.
While she's
Later, I think we should go and cut down the plant and take samples from it.
Do you want to do that in the morning?
Not right now when it's dark.
While she's doing that, I'd like to ask our guide if she has any navigator's tools that I could borrow.
Yes. She does. So she will kind of equipment share with you while making the note that it is for the duration of the trip. This is not a gift, but we can use them together for the communal sake of our crew.
I believe that is very wise, and then I want to use the navigation tools that I have with the cartographer's tools to make sure that I'm mapping out exactly where we're going as she starts working on a rough draft of the map so far.
Okay, perfect. You can have, I think, double proficiency because you have 2 sets of tools. So if you want to take your evening to kind of buff out your map a little bit.
Yeah. So can I roll like the cartographer's tools with advantage?
It would just be an additional a proficiency bonus. So it'd be, I think, another +2.
Oh, okay. So expertise then.
Yes.
Okay. Bum, 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 bum.
And then with Rust kind of being set to be the looker outer, if you want to roll a perception check for me.
Hey, 21's across the board.
21s. So you can get a perfect map so far of what you've been doing. Rust, you can see on the other side of the bank, the enormous dinosaurs are starting to congregate at the still area of the river. And you can see triceratops, kind of a small herd of them. There's 4 very large adults and 2 babies, and they're starting to just drink from the river on the other side.
Oh.
They do not appear to be threatening. However, they are enormous, so as the adult ones are.
Look over there. Those things look awesome. I hope they live a good life, free from the reign of terror that the systems of order have against us. Rust will also
Rust.
Rust will
I
also
think
take.
that they.
Sorry, go ahead.
Rust. I think that they are the terror.
Triceratops are herbivores. They only attack to defend themselves. Rust knows this for some reason.
Oh my gosh, Russ,
Rust will also.
please keep talking. You're so interesting. By
Rust
the
will
way,
also-
why is there a purple smiley face on your face?
Rust will also take a minute to sort of study the dinosaurs himself because, hey, wild shape will be a thing soon.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. Yep,
Also,
you
hold
can,
on, let me roll insight. What purple face on my face? On Rust's face.
Oh, you're right. It's not purple, it's yellow.
Speaking of
That's
purple,
right, it is.
The rest of the evening I work on, well, I was working on the fish earlier for drying them, but whatever I didn't get done, I do. And then I take a bit of each fish that I haven't tried yet and give the rest to other people to eat. And I do food reviews as well on my fish.
So you can fill the notebook for the wildlife of the different fish that you've now found. Do you put the triceratops in there as well?
Yes.
Okay. So you
So
have added.
There is no food review on that.
So, and then in the morning, so night passes without any issues. In the morning, did you want to go try to take care of the flower?
Rust, do you want to deal with the tyranny of terrible plants that try to destroy things?
Can I roll
Rust gets
persuasion
the-
on this?
Rust gets the feeling that you're leading them on, but Rust agrees anyway.
16 persuasion. Does anybody else want to help with this?
Rust.
Oh my
Rust
gosh,
knows.
we totally should.
Rust knows you're leading them on, but they agree anyway.
Come on, Russ, let's go. It'd be exciting, my gosh.
Rust is already going with you. You don't have to convince Rust any further.
Hey, Russ, about that mark on your face, the good news is it's gone, the bad news is it came back, now it's bright orange. It's crazy.
I think you need to worry more about the orange plant than his orange face. And his name is Rust for a reason.
If it is all right with you, Russ would prefer it if you referred to them with non-gender binary pronouns.
Bird. Bird.
That will do for now.
Ah, plant.
Rust is woke,
Ooh.
guys.
Woke as
So,
hell.
if you guys want to go take care of this, or no?
Stella's
That
following
looks
Yanni.
horrifying.
Naceli is just sitting back on top of the boat.
Okay.
You are not going to help with this?
No one asked her. She's working on her drawing.
Hold on.
Okay. So, if you guys want to get up to it, you can see it kind of quiver and tense, like it's waiting for somebody to get within reach of it.
Vicious mockery doesn't work on plants.
You
Does it
would
have an intelligence higher
suspect
than 4?
probably not.
Dang it. Can I do dancing lights around it to see if that does anything to it?
Okay. Yeah. It doesn't appear to really affect it. It's almost as if it can't even sense that there's anything like dancing around at the lights. Yeah.
Stella moves her head left to right, following the lights.
I'm starting to regret this decision.
Rust
Oh.
would like to
Oh,
use
Yanni, can I
druid
try
craft.
something?
Go ahead. Go
Sorry,
ahead.
I couldn't hear that, Jay. What was that?
Go ahead, Rust. After you.
Okay. Rust would like to try to use druidcraft to see if it can sense odors.
Okay. What do you do?
He
with
will,
craft?
Rust will create the harmless sensory effect. Rust will create the faint odor of skunk nearby the plant, but far enough away from the party so that they won't be bothered by it.
Okay. It doesn't actually react to any smell like that.
Good news, it can't smell us.
Can I
Hey.
thunderwave it?
I was about to do that, legit about to do that, because I have the same spell.
Can we
You
both do it
wanna-
at like the same time? And like
Okay.
look at each other in like twinsies moment, you know?
Stella's gonna look at Yanni and go, hey, Yanni, I have a question. Do you think that it would feel a lightning attack? Like thunder wave?
Why don't we check?
She holds up her hands and goes, together?
Thunderwave!
Thunder wave!
So
That actually cast, or do I need to roll it and cast?
It
I
counts.
don't
no,
know.
it hits. How do
Okay.
you how do you kill this plant? You
Can we please
decimate it.
Dragon Ball Z like touch our fingers together and then just point and shock it?
I wanna aim for the stem because I would like some of the acid and powder and such to be intact so I can collect samples.
Yeah, you absolutely insta kill this thing 2 times its hit points. The stalk just kind of shatters under the thunder wave, and then the 3 giant fronds just kind of drop to the ground, just kind of wilting back a little bit. And you can see there's the yellow, the orange, and the red, all of them just kind of dead there in the vicinity.
I take samples from all of it.
Stella's going to say out loud, okay, Yanni, it's official. They feel thunder wave.
I would
And it
write
kills
in our book. I would write in our book that is very effective for ways to exterminate.
Good to know. Good to know.
Okay. So you retrieve some samples and get back to the boat. It looks like Azaka and Naceli are like antsy to get going. Azaka is has been looking at Naselli's map and trying to plot how many days it's going to take to get down to Camp Righteous. So if you all wish to board and set sail, this time I will just need to see the perception check from the person with the Rust. if that's your job.
Rust, if you'll be lookout.
Stella will give Russ bardic inspiration.
Oh dear.
Okay.
Stella will give Russ bardic inspiration and give a kind of like double thumbs up. You can do it. I believe in you.
I would
So
say
that's
I'm
an
rolling
8.
perception too, but it's more probably at the water. Looking
that's
for
the-
fish.
Exactly the key. I guess you wouldn't even have to roll perception to notice this, but the water is turning murky. There's not so much rapids, and it's more Azaka is steering the boat up the stream, and it's a little bit more resistance as you're going, not downstream but upstream. But all of the area here is muddy and murky, and there seems to be no visibility inside the pools of water here. The jungle's getting thick in on each side, but it's not so much that there's walls to the river as the river is just spreading out over everything. So there's plants growing up really thick out of the water, but it's if you can't just get out of the boat there, you'd still like sink for who knows how deep. The water just kind of continues off into the edges. And there is a percentile die roll, please.
Who?
Whoever's first.
96.
Okay, 96.
That's a 96. So in this game, high rolls for the chance encounters are actually good. The low rolls are bad.
Yay!
So nothing happens.
I was so
However-
nervous.
However, it does take pretty much the whole day to kind of get through the swamp muck for you to go. Probably a couple times she asks for everybody to jump on the oars just to give a little bit of extra speed, but you are able to progress another day.
Can I
without
fish?
You can, sure. Okay.
I know my survival sucks, but my character's persistent.
Okay, with a 12, roll another percentile dice.
Don't you dare get nommed.
78.
You feel a yank on your pole, but once you lift up, you can just see the bait has been completely eaten off. But there's nothing there.
How rude.
Here, let me try. Can Naselli try?
Sure.
Fish. Nope.
And then roll a percentile dice at disadvantage.
I like the idea of just like swinging back and maybe like catching Stella's shirt and like trying to throw her. Like,
No. What I imagine,
Hey, please don't.
I imagine you get like a bite, but the fish pulls the fishing rod into the water.
35 with disadvantage.
Okay. You feel something kind of pulling and tugging on the fishing line. And as soon as you kind of yank it up, you can see that there's a whole bunch of, not little, they're about almost like, not salmon sized, but like, I don't know, maybe 6 to 8 inch fish hanging on to the bait. One of them has been hooked, but there's 2 more just kind of hanging on with razor sharp teeth. And you pull out 3 what looks to be piranha into the boat. Everybody please roll initiative.
Oh, mother. 2 natural ones in a row.
Good God, Kenzie.
I know.
Are piranhas edible?
You can try to find out.
Do they have a nice color to them, or are they more dull?
They are definitely very flat gray in color.
I'm fortunate. I will dissect it before I throw it back in.
Okay. Is that everyone? I'm missing one person. Niani, I think that was you. Let me add you.
Stella, It is not a good idea to electrocute people in a boat.
Yeah, so Stella's turn.
I mean, I'm not that dumb. I know not to do that. I'm gonna ask Ollie to move out of the way first. Stella's going to. Where are the piranhas in relation to me? How far away?
Let's see, Naceli is on top of the boat, so they're kind of like right there in the middle of everything. So they're adjacent to you, and they seem
Cool.
to have detached from the hook. They're just kind of like flip flopping around with these big. I guess they're not so much piranha so much as like anglerfish. That's what I'm imagining.
Okay.
But very snappy jaws.
Stella is going to get on top of the boat next to Naceli
Okay.
because I don't want to deal with that.
Roll a dexterity save. Okay.
Nice.
One of these fish is like flopping back and forth and tries to bite you, but you climb up on top of the barge.
Hi, Sally. Can you scoot back for a second? I'm gonna try to shoot one of them. And now I'm nervous. I don't want to prick a hole in the boat.
Then don't do that.
This seems like a bad idea.
I'm going to Bardic Inspiration Rust. I can't do anything else. She'll yell at Rust. Hey, Rust. Birds eat fish. Don't let them eat you. You got this. Sparkles.
Okay, perfect. So are you doing anything else with your action?
I'll use my action to do prestidigitation to add the effect to the Bardic Inspiration. You can do it, Sparkle.
Perfect.
Because I don't want to accidentally prick a hole in the boat. My only other thing would be to do range attacks.
Okay. One of the, we'll call it a piranha, tries to flip-flop its way over to Niani and bite you on the leg. But that's a 5. So that's probably a fail.
It is a fail. Yes.
Rust.
Right. Rust will use their bonus action to cast Shillelagh on their quarterstaff.
Okay.
He will glance
Okay,
back.
Adrian.
Go ahead.
I was going to ask if you could turn the individual volume down for that particular battle track.
Yeah, there's a way you can do it in Roll20 too. If you go to the settings cog, you can
It's the
adjust
master
your-
volume, not just all of the volume, though. Thank you.
Yeah, but it's just for your own Roll20.
Thank you.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, the Rust will sort of glance back to Stella. Like, I appreciate the words, but I'm actually vegetarian. Rust is actually vegetarian. And will try to smack one of the piranhas.
That hits and kills one of them. Which one were you trying to hit? The one that bit at Stella or the one that bit at Niani? Or the other one?
I'll hit the one that bit at Stella.
Okay.
She's been quote-unquote nice to Rust so far.
Okay. Yeah, so you just whack it and it dies. They're on the boat. The third one kind of flops its way looking at you, and then you can see it like squint because you just killed its friend, and then it like flop, 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 blah, 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 bite. Does a 9 hit you?
No, my Rust's AC is 16.
Okay, Yanni.
I was gonna use my net, but there's only one fish at this point that's on
Oh,
me.
Oh yeah, there's one on you and one on Rust.
Can I do a double claw attack? I'm not even gonna get my weapons out. This is just.
Yep, you can try.
I can try. 9. Does that hit a fish?
9 will not hit it, actually.
3. I guess my claw. I guess it's just so. It's a slippery fish.
Yeah, plus it's flip-flopping. It's like, it's not so much dodging as it's out of water and just like flipping itself up in the air, and it rotates and does a somersault and dodges out of the way.
Okay, bonus action, ready my net.
Okay. Nacelle? Or Nacelle?
Nacelle.
Okay.
Can I pull one of the 2 torches that I purchased from my bag and like dangle myself down without like actually taking myself off of the top of the roof and get near Nani and swing like a golf club and try to knock the one away from her?
Yes. One question I have for you is, do you have like a backpack with a torch, or is it in the storage area underneath the canvas of the boat?
It would be in my backpack, which would be on
Okay,
my back. So that's where all my cartographer
then yes,
tools
you
and
can.
stuff like that. Okay.
That's fair. Go ahead.
How would you like me to roll that, Adrian? Do you just want me to roll an unarmed strike? Or
No, I would say roll.
I could put a quarterstaff on her and just roll for that.
Just tell me a skill or a role that you think is an appropriate one, whether it's athletics or sleight of hand or whatever you think, and we'll go with that.
I would say I would try to justify acrobatics because I'm being kind of flippy about it. So like I'm like falling forward and kind of using my momentum to take the swing.
Okay, go for it. Roll an acrobatics check. See if you can yeet this
16
fishy out of the boat. So this is the one on Niani. She just it's flipping up and down all over the place, and so when you hang off the edge, it's in midair, and you just whack the fish, and it goes sailing out of the boat. Roll percent. Actually, I'll roll percentile. It does not land in the water, but off into the trees and seems to just splash off somewhere.
Sweet. Is the one near Rust still bouncing?
Yeah, the fish are definitely bouncing because they're out of water. It's still alive.
Okay. Can I drop down on my hands and do a spin kick and try to kick the one that was at Rust away and off the boat too?
I would say you're a monk, yeah. I'd say
Right.
with the key point, yes. That's like the unarmed strike as a bonus action.
That was my unarmed strike as a bonus action, but I don't have key points at level 1.
Okay, but you can still attack as a bonus, right?
Yes.
Then yes, because we'll treat that first thing as an attack. So if you have a way to bonus action attack, then yes.
Wait. Do I get a bonus?
I think you do. It's just not the key point for 2.
Yeah. Okay. 24 to kick that sucker in the air. Awesome.
Yeah, you kick it up in the air.
Can I kill it and then like spring off of my feet and then catch it?
Like yes,
spring off my hands.
Roll another acrobatics check. Because otherwise it's going to land in the water.
17.
Yeah, you're able to just lean over and catch it before it hits the water. And that is the last fish. So, combat over. Unless anybody else wants to go in the water.
I had to get the children in bed because they were not actually asleep yet or sleeping. How did the last one die?
Nacelle kick.
I spin kicked it and then I caught it.
Stella's watching and clapping.
There are bubbles in the murky water, and they seem to be surrounding your boat. Azaka just kind of keeps shoving forwards so that it's moving, and you proceed through the murky water, unless anybody wants to do anything else.
I do not continue to fish.
Stella will get back down and go back to rowing.
I give Niani the piranha that I killed and caught.
I hold it between my 2 clawed fingers like, I don't like this kind of fish. And I will start to draw it.
Okay, so you can record piranha angler, I guess.
I ask, I double check with our guide that this isn't an edible fish.
She looks at you funny. You can try to eat it. I'm not going to eat it.
Rust will get up on the roof and keep a lookout.
Everybody's licking the roof right now. So you proceed through kind of a murky swamp, and I've already drawn in that you've made it a couple more hexes. And it's, for me, it's about midnight, and I know it's later for half of everybody playing. Do people want to keep going, or do you just want to pause and go back to Port Nyanzaru and call it a day? You did find some stuff so far, but you didn't get all the way down to Camp Bridges.
I'm actually really, really enjoying this game. I would not mind continuing, but that's just me.
It's up to you guys, but I'm happy for both.
Or is continuing it in a different session?
Yeah, I mean it's completely up to you. This can carry on as we're doing. We can play later if people want to, or just kind of come back to it. 100% up to you guys.
What were you gonna say, Katie?
I was gonna say I'm down for wherever you guys are.
How about you, Kenzie? Do you work tomorrow?
I do not work tomorrow, it looks like it. I probably got another hour in me before I need to call it a night, but if we don't get too far within another hour, I would definitely like to continue this into a session 2.
This is so funny.
This is so creative, Adrian. I love it.
Okay, if people are having fun, I'm good to keep going. If you guys want to play another hour or so, we can just carry on.
Yeah, that's fine by me.
Cool,
Okay.
cool.
So at the end of the day, the riverboat is kind of pushing up against the natural current of the river, and she moors it off to the side. You can see that the jungle is, again, still very close. There's no actual land next to you. It's just thick jungle. You can probably try to traverse it if you wanted to climb in the treetops to try to get across, but there is actually no landmass next to you. It's just more kind of swampy water that just spills out into the distance. But the boat is tied down for the night. The water is still fairly dark. You don't think there's any piranha fish nearby, but it is kind of what it is. How do you wish to set for the evening? Any exploration or just staying in the boat for this one?
For that, I wanted to, as we were not fishing anymore, I wanted to do a perception to see if there's any plants that look unfamiliar.
Okay, you can roll a perception. Okay. It looks to be not so much like flowers or anything, but you can see some of the trees here. They would be something you'd recognize as kind of on your to look for list, and they're just called rubber trees, and it's because the bark in them is kind of so flexible that if harvested, then you can create things that are bendy a little bit but still made out of wood. So those are kind of a resource in Chult that can be harvested with proper expeditionist tools.
Are there any that are near the boat that we could reach from where we're landed at?
Close enough. It would take a skill check to get over to it, but if you wish to, you can try.
I will skill check it.
Okay, so that will be a acrobatics if you're trying to do swingy stuff, I suppose. So acrobatics.
I rolled twice. I apologize. I don't know why I did that.
To me, it looks like you rolled a perception and an acrobatics, so we'll take the acrobatics check.
Oh, sorry.
With that, you fall into the water. You kind of jump up, and it's actually the tree that you were expecting to hang on to and kind of swing over. It was covered in almost like an algae-like slime, and you just go swoosh and splash into the water.
And I, saving throw, jump out of the water onto like nearest branch.
Roll percentile dice first.
I'm gonna get bit in the arse.
Okay. It is actually deep to the deeper than you are anticipating as well. So despite the fact that you're kind of tied down, it is still well below, like well above head height, and you actually submerge. There's nothing to really catch yourself on, except just underwater you can feel reeds and plants, which is very unsettling because you can't see underneath here.
Rust will dive in to try and save her.
Okay. So
Dear
you
Lord.
splash down into the water as well. You can kind of catch her and kind of hoist her back up to the surface, but you are both in the water, and I will need you to also roll percentile dice for me.
I'd like to point out that Rust is attempting to fly out of the water with her.
You can roll an athletics check at disadvantage because you are now sopping wet, and so is the tabaxi.
I wasn't. Could I have like be not under the water so he could grab me while I was?
Oh, I see what you're saying. So you're
Yeah.
trying to scoop her up without submerging.
Yeah,
Okay.
like sort of a grab my hand deal.
You can do that once she surfaces, which again she did roll to.
Oh
She
yeah.
didn't roll for any issues. I still want you to roll your percentile dice though.
Can I swim up to the top?
39.
Okay. Yep. So then she breaks the surface, kind of gasping for air. It's dark out. Everything there's not even that much light from the sky or the stars, just because of the cloud cover. But you can see where the flailing tabaxi comes up, and you can make an attempt to pull her out. You can fly and roll your athletics check. What's your strength score?
My strength score is -1, but I have proficiency with athletics, so that's
I
a
will.
+1.
I will give you the disadvantage still, I'm afraid.
Okay.
You can do it.
12.
A bardic
So,
inspiration.
I imagine your bardic inspiration is more like
13.
If you want to imagine it that way, I do not mind.
So
I'm a wet cat.
Yes, the wet cat is floundering, causing splashing and noise, and you swoop down, catch her, and hoist. You can't lift her completely out of the water, but you can circle around and scoop her up into the boat. She hits the edge with on her waist and get pulled in from your allies. You do not get wet, like maybe a couple splashes, but you do not go in the water, which is a good thing.
Can I shake off the wetness?
Yes, you can. You roll a perception check.
Perception. Seems like it was a very bad idea.
Okay. Yep. You are wet, but you're able to shake it off and just kind of. Ugh.
Also, I want
Gross.
to note to you, Mr. DM, that I did not drink any of this water. My mouth was closed when I was underwater. Just to clarify this.
May Rust make a
Stella looks
perception check?
over.
Yes.
Stella looks over and
Because he was... Go on, Katie.
no, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, can Rust have a look at her perception check, because he was the one who pulled her out of the water.
Yep. So you can roll perception, and then what was Stella saying?
I was gonna say, Stella looks over at Niani. Niani, what happened? You look soaking wet.
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, then don't. Can I also say that the description of that scene reminds me of that part of the Aristocats where Thomas O'Malley's drowning, and the duck's just there like, oh my God, what are we doing? Help me! What's wrong? You can't swim? Oh no!
Pretty much, yeah.
That's amazing. So, Rust, you can see that she's soaking wet. She could probably use a blanket, or she could probably just try to air dry. With how humid it is here, even in nighttime.
I was already wearing very little. I remove anything else because I'm a cat and I have hair.
Okay. Is anybody paying any close attention to you now that you are naked?
I don't know. Is anyone paying any attention to a mostly, actually completely naked
what
cat?
What happened to your clothes?
Okay, sounds like you are. You can roll perception.
Don't want to talk about it.
Usually
I have a
some
leech
clothes
on me. I totally have a leech on me, don't I?
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah, if you want to roll perception. Yeah.
Oh man.
Can I roll perception since I'm looking directly at a naked tabaxi?
Yeah, that's who gets to roll. It's very
You're so
inappropriate.
naked. You're so naked. Why are you so naked?
Can I shake off my fur and roll a perception looking for leeches?
You can. You can roll perception again.
I'm gonna roll it my perception again. Oh my god.
Okay.
Can I look up from my cartographer's tools and see what all the ruckus is about and then roll perception?
Yes, you can roll perception.
12. The best out of everybody.
It's dark out. She's obviously fell in the water somehow. But yeah, it seems to be under control.
Yeah, you're fine. Goes back to drawing.
Hey,
Rust will offer her his common clothes.
Oh, wait, hold
Rust
on.
doesn't wear these. Feel free to use them to dry yourself off.
No.
So, unless anybody wants to try going back to look at the rubber tree or anything, the night will pass.
I will not try again.
Okay. During the night, Niani, I need you to roll a Constitution saving throw, please.
Con saving throw?
Yeah, Constitution.
Con saving throw. 19!
Oh my god.
Woo.
Okay. And then roll 2d4.
Blood loss. Right there.
Okay.
6 pints of blood.
So you take 6 points of damage. That's not a permanent loss because you succeeded on your con save, but you wake up feeling terrible. You have bites all over your skin, and you feel very sick. Weak, rather. Not so much sick, but weak. It's a new morning. The sun's out. The river looks murky still. And
Can I roll
continues
perception on myself or something else?
Well, you would know that something's wrong.
I do not feel good. I want to throw up. Keep all of my insides inside.
Hold on. Let's see if I can help this. Rust can help.
Hold on. Rust, what was that?
Rust would like to see if Rust can help.
You can roll an investigation check. And then what was that, Stella?
I'm sorry. Just dropping their third person narrative for a second, they'll go, I'm sorry about this, but I'm just going to look over you kind of closely and make sure that everything's all right. Are you okay with that?
I am a cat. Or a bird. They're okay.
Understood. I see absolutely nothing.
Rust is like, oh yes, a cat. Feline.
The tabaxi is gone.
Stella's gonna look over at Rust, smirk, and go, are you feline all right over there, Rust?
Perfectly
Rust,
fine, thank you.
I presume you're like nosing around through her fur looking for stuff.
He's just staring very intensely at different parts.
Oh
It's
no.
a cat.
Oh no. What am I about to find?
It was not.
Find nothing with a 1. That's literally the only roll that was going to say you don't find anything.
Stella looks at
In that case, because she is still not feeling well, Rust will cast Healing Word to see if that helps her a bit.
Okay.
Can I roll a perception on myself to see where?
Yeah, you can. You can part your fur and trying to look. You can see you're covered in leeches. This little black
I called it.
thing just sucking your blood from underneath the fur.
What I want to know is how did I not get that with my previous rolls? I feel like I would have felt it.
They had actually started sucking on you at that point.
Okay, that makes
Hey.
sense.
Wait, those aren't meant to be there. I just thought those were part of your skin.
Hey, what's the name? What is the name of our guide?
Azaka, I think.
Can I start picking these off my skin, please?
Azaka, can we pull over the boat, please? I need to help out Niani with her
Question:
situation.
If I put salt on them, do they kind of like slug up?
You can roll a medicine check.
I -1 medicine.
You can try salt. You have salt in your rations. And Stella, if you wanted to ask Azaka something.
Azaka, can we maybe pull the ship over to try to help Niani real quick? Niani, I know a really good way to get rid of leeches.
Hey, I was right. It does work. But the question is it a good idea to do it when it's on my arm?
Well, I think Stella has an idea.
I'll tell you right now out of character, just do the salt first because I only have one idea and it's not a good idea. But Stella thinks it's a good idea.
I
I'm
was
going
just
to-
really hoping Rust would have an idea, but
I mean, Rust can roll
I
medicine
asked-
to see.
Ask Stella if she knows about a way to get rid of the leech off your skin.
Stella looks at you and holds up her hands the same way we did a few days ago and goes,
Sorry,
I can show
Stella. Sorry, not Stella. Our guide. Sorry, our guide. Not Stella. Not Stella.
she's gonna thunder wave them off you.
Sorry, what was that, Adrian?
Oh my god, I just got what Stella was gonna try to do. Do you want to do that?
But is Stella gonna? No, I'm not going anywhere near Stella.
Azaka will say fire is the answer, and then she starts working on a tinder to try to light maybe a torch. If you burn them, they won't spit in your blood. It's the safest way to remove.
Stella pulls out a torch from her bag.
Rust.
Salt work.
Rust raises his hand. Does Rust know anything?
Well, you being a bird, I would think that they're kind of like slugs, so they might almost be like food. But you would probably think that's actually a pretty bad idea because they're leeches, so they're not really good edibles.
I'm not sure.
It takes about
Rust
20
isn't
minutes
sure
for a
if
leech
there's
to
any-
fill up, and when it's done, it drops off the skin.
Not these
Rust
leeches.
isn't sure.
Not
These are
leeches.
Chult leeches.
These are Chult
Welcome to
leeches.
D&D leeches.
D&D leeches.
Rust
Go ahead, Rust.
Rust isn't sure if there is a medical way to remove them, but Rust can speak with animals. So if you give Rust 10 minutes, they might be able to just ask them to leave you alone.
Oh my gosh, Russ, that's the best idea I've heard you say this entire trip. Let's do that.
I'm not even going to bother rolling an insight.
No, please do. Maybe I'm not 20 it. Maybe I'm not 20 it. Go ahead. That's the best idea you told us all this entire trip. Find out the favorite color while you're at it. Ask them how their day is going and why they like to suck blood off an innocent cat.
Rust will take that entirely
Oh.
at face value and will
Hey.
begin to ritual cast
Salt?
speak with animals.
Damn it.
While he's doing that, I'm going to start applying salt to him, because evidently it does in fact kill leeches. Does it kill Chult leeches?
I'm gonna grab her wrist before she does and say, let me take a look at this. And Adrian, because I have the sailor background, can I roll a medicine check with advantage?
Sailor, for like, with your idea being because you've been a water-based before, you would know kind of this type of thing?
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
And I realized, guys, that if I had taken longer than 5 minutes to make this character, I might have been able to get us free passage instead of paying this lady. My bad. 11. I know this. I know the same amount as Rust.
Yeah. Yeah, probably
And salt leeches. No one knows anything.
Probably the biggest thing is when you detach them, it's a chance that they can cause additional damage, whether it's like the guide said, spitting in your veins, basically. Salt will kill them, but you don't know if it's going to do any other harm.
This is a good point. They will probably throw up all over me, and I do not want that in my fur.
Yeah,
So-
throw up sucks.
So how do you wish to remove these?
I think fire is the
Environments.
best way. I think listening to our guide here would be best.
Please do not burn my beautiful fur.
Can
Stella will hold up
Rust
a torch.
use Druidcraft? Because Druidcraft can light a very small fire.
Oh, there you
Can
go.
Rust
Light
try
my
to use
torch.
Druidcraft to try and individually burn each of them off?
Aren't you
So-
still trying to cast speak with animals to talk to the leeches?
Oh yeah, fair point. Nope, carry on.
So, so this little adventure is seeming to be quite the conundrum. So I need to know, how are you going to remove the leeches? Do you want to use fire? And if so, what medium of fire?
I actually am really, really curious what you are going to say if he actually talks to the leeches to try to get them to get off of me.
Actually,
Oh
you
my
It looks
God.
like he's busy ritually casting, so if you want to wait for him.
Can I healing word myself?
I can healing word you.
you were healing
Yeah.
word for 5. I don't know if you got that before.
Yeah.
Oh, you did. I didn't adjust anything so that it's.
Oh, yeah, Rust Heal told you to feel better for 5 points. You're only down 1. If one of
Okay.
you, if Healing Word is a bonus action cantrip, I think, then you can just be back to full. The leeches.
It's not. I'll take the -1.
Healing Word is a level 1 bonus action spell.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. So, how are you going to wait for the ritual spell?
Yeah, I mean, Nasalia would
Okay.
be like, it looks like Rust is doing something. Let's let him figure this out.
I was gonna
Yes.
ask the leeches about what they're doing. It's amazing.
So, Russ, tell me what your spell casting ritual looks like, and then as it goes through, what you do.
Rust brings out his druidic focus, which is like, it's actually a little insignia of a military rank. It's a little like metal amulet that he uses to focus, that they use to focus their magic. And after about 10 minutes of focusing on the magic, they let out a
I knew it. I knew it. And
okay. Now that that is done with, Rust will look at the leeches and speak at them in the speak with animals speech.
okay. Well, what do you say?
Greetings, little friends. I am Rust, and you are currently attached to one of my slightly larger friends. Now, I would very much appreciate it if you were no longer there. Unfortunately, they did trespass in your domain, but it was by accident. It was not intended to disturb you, and for that I apologize on their behalf.
Can I give him bardic inspiration for just trying to get these off of me?
Sure. And then, Rust, I will have you roll a persuasion check. But what you hear is a tiny, tiny little squeaky voice, and it says, "Buffet! Buffet!"
Okay, so persuasion.
Yep, with a bardic inspiration, I believe.
That is 90. Wow, bardic inspiration sucks tonight.
It is bad for you, yeah.
It's
It needs
because
more
Isabel
roleplay
and Baby
behind
aren't here. We need Isabel and Baby in here, not these low levels.
Can I ask you
Anyway,
if I'm
so a 19.
So one of the squeaky voices says, "Need water," and then the others are like, "Buffet," and then the other says, "Water," and then slowly they start to drop off of the awning.
I have
And
like
then-
I kind of angle them to where they'll drop off out of the boat as much as possible.
Okay. Most of them drop off
Any that
in the water then if you're trying to do that, but there's some like on your back, and there's so many of them that some of them are still going to fall in the boat.
Rust will pick up the ones that fall onto the boat and apologize to them before tossing them back in the water.
Question: do we need a description of leeches?
I think Mackenzie posted it in the chat.
I saw that. Yeah. Do we
So-
need a leech sample, or are we good?
Oh, in terms of your botany stuff, it's up to you
Yeah.
if you wanna keep one.
Stella's gonna look at Russ and go, "Hey, Russ, real quick, come here."
What do you need, friend?
Can I look
That-
and see what you're holding?
Okay. Sure. That's fine with Rust. And he'll hold out the military insignia.
No, the other thing. Are you still holding onto the leeches? Do you have any
Oh,
leeches
you
in your
wanted-
hand?
Yeah, he's probably like halfway through throwing one off. Just you want to take a look at this? Okay.
Stella's gonna take the leech out of his hand and hold it up. And then she's going to poke at it with the dagger.
Okay, it dies.
Hey! I just apologized to them. Come on.
Well, I'm sure it'll mean a lot when it goes to Lychee Heaven, but we need to identify these things. Niani
I start
said,
drawing a picture of it.
"Here, Niani." She'll drop it on the book. And she'll just like wipe her hand off and then give Russ a thumbs up. By the way, Russ, I almost forgot. For some reason, there's a purple bunny on the back of your head.
If you're all entirely done, I'm going to shove off the boat now. And
Sounds
Azaka
good.
begins to move the boat.
I'm not sure I believe you. Stella.
You should go look and see. I promise it's totally there.
Okay, how about Mackenzie? You want to roll a percentile dice?
Sure. Percentile 37.
37. Okay. So I have a list of like all the random stuff that can happen. So this is fun.
Nice.
There is another one of the roars, the dinosaur roars, and it's much closer than you would like for it to be, you think. And everybody can please roll perception checks.
Oh man, if Stella hears it, that's not good.
Oh shit. Perception.
Okay. So Rust, you can see actually moving through the trees is almost like a stampede of these little like hog-like things, little boars, kind of squeaking and running through the trees on one of the banks of the rivers, and you can hear this boom, 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 and you can see a Tyrannosaurus Rex breaking through onto one of the beaches on the other side of the river, probably about 200 feet in front of you, further up the river, and it is running along the river to increase its speed, and then it kind of ducks back into the tree line, breaking through some branches, and then you hear a squeal from one of the pigs as the Tyrannosaurus Rex eats it. The boat kind of quietly is floating on towards this site for where the T-Rex was. I need everybody to tell me what you would like to do as you're beginning to pass where the carnage occurs.
Rust would like to study the T-Rex. Like, just watch it as it does its thing.
Okay.
Stella readies her hand crossbow, just for good measure.
Okay.
Naselli is, as she's like taking notes as they travel next to the section where she's writing the note about the section of the map. She writes down possible dangerous encounter with a T-Rex on the side.
There's a reason they're called the tyrant lizard.
Okay, is it just a corpse that we're passing?
No, it's a live T-Rex. You heard it roar in the distance, and then a whole bunch of wild pigs were running through the trees on the bank up ahead. The T-Rex kind of plunged through the tree line and ate some of one of the pigs, and is kind of bent over, tearing the flesh right now.
I have my paper out because I was drawing a picture of a leech. I go to the paper of the dinosaurs and observe if there's anything I missed. It's different from the others. This one seems to be by itself.
Yep, this one's a Tyrannosaurus Rex, not a Stegosaurus, or sorry, Triceratops. So very different.
Oh, I got very confused. Yes. Yeah, I make a note for this particular dinosaur then.
Okay, so nobody's necessarily doing anything too loud or obnoxious. The guide is just in the back very quietly, just kind of pushing the boat further along. I imagine she has kind of an oar, but it's got kind of a gondola style shoving motion is how it propels itself. So she's very quietly just pushing the boat along. And everybody please roll stealth checks as you pass by the scene. The T-Rex's back is to you. It's kind of hunched over, tearing at the dead animal, and its tail is kind of stood up in the air in your general direction.
Oh my god.
So that's 15, 14, 8, and 8. So 2 passes, 2 fails. Let's have someone roll percentile dice.
Not me.
I'll roll one because I haven't rolled one all night.
Okay, go for it.
Sorry, this goes badly.
Oh god!
I'm sorry.
Oh my.
The T-Rex rights itself, swallows with one big gulp as the last of the hog is eaten, and kind of turns around, and as you are passing, it is eye level with you and just looks at you in the middle of the river. It
Don't
eyes you.
do anything.
Eyes you and
Can Stella roll performance to calm T-Rex down?
Can I
you
roll?
try. Tell me
it's
what
a
you do.
humanoid.
What is Sally gonna do?
Stella, oh, go ahead.
Can I also get dancing lights ready for like somewhere in the shore?
Okay, so you're reading dancing lights. If
Yeah.
what?
I want to do dancing lights kind of like the direction where the pigs are running off to distract it.
Okay, and what is Stella doing?
Stella was gonna start to beat on her drum,
Okay.
but
Oh my
Yeah.
god, you're gonna get us killed.
I have good. Can you give me bardic inspiration? Okay, if this fails, I'm playing my drum music to calm the T-Rex down.
Before she rolls, can Nisali kind of whisper down to their guide and say, "Hey, if this goes bad, how can I help us go faster?"
The guide is going to her eyes are locked on the T-Rex and she's trying not to move, and she's going to say, "He can't see us if we don't move, but if he does smell us, we need to go back down the river as fast as we can. We can't go up current, so we're rowing downstream. We'll have to backtrack."
Got it. And I will hold my action to get to the oars to grab both and start rowing if things go bad.
Niani,
Okay.
try doing the dancing lights first, and if that fails, I'll try to do performance.
I'll do dancing lights to. Yeah.
Okay, so Yanni begins to cast dancing lights. What does that look like?
Make as small of a motion as possible.
Okay.
And I whisper the semantic and
Okay.
let go of a little bit of dust and kind of Can I make the dancing light move?
Yeah, so it's a 60-foot range, so you can kind of
Yeah.
cast it over towards like the tree line.
Can I
Um,
cast it like where he's eating his meal? Like where
Okay,
his
so yeah,
meal was from his
there's
meal.
just a little bit of like skin rags and stuff there, but if you do it behind him, you can roll I guess, persuasion check.
Yes, persuasion. Do I get advantage with it?
No, you do not.
25.
That's a
Natural 20.
20.
That's a natural 20.
So it looks at your boat as you're kind of like barely drifting by, and it kind of sees a flicker behind it, and it turns its head, and immediately your guide begins to like shove her pole into the water and pull herself, pull the boat, so it's starting to reverse direction, go back downstream, and she taps Nacelle on the arm, like, do the oars, let's get going.
Great. I would like to jump down and begin rowing. What would you like me to roll for that?
Athletics.
And
And if anybody wants to take the other oars, you can.
can I
So we'll
lead
take the other one.
dancing lights into the forest?
14.
Like it starts to move to like
Okay.
make the dinosaur chase it with that particular persuasion roll.
So I would say, because of where you're at in the middle of the water, you can make it move a little bit, but not too much further within range. So you can roll one more persuasion check if you would like. What about not Jay? What's his name?
Rust.
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 What is Rust doing?
Rust is going to take lookout again. Looking out for danger.
That's my other persuasion roll.
Okay. So Nacelle and Stella help launch the boat back down the stream, and it begins to pick up pace as you're now allying your boat with the current, and you begin to duck out of view. The T-Rex kind of investigates a little bit more, and then you can hear it smell, or you can see it smelling up into the air, and then it looks back out into the river. And as you pass back around the bend and it drops out of view, it roars one final time. Very quiet though, but it's fine.
Stella's gonna whisper. Stella's gonna whisper. Rust. Shut up.
Yeah. So you backtrack a little bit. I'm going to delete the marker and just have one marker instead. And your day's travels kind of, you pause over. It's still bright out, and you kind of anchor the boat off into the jungle, probably a good 5, maybe 4 miles downstream backtracking. But your guide doesn't really want to push forwards at all. So you have some daylight, and she kind of parks it up on this beach area, and you have some time.
I finish my artwork of T-Rex, and then I go look for plants.
I want to pull Stella to the side.
Okay.
All right, Stella, come here. Stella?
She's listening. We told her to go with there. What are you gonna say to Stella?
Oh, you didn't narrate that she came with me, so as far as I knew, she was staring off into space. So,
Again.
listen. We are a team here, right?
Yeah.
You need to start being a team player then, girl. Your attitude towards Russ needs to stop. We're a team. We're here to keep each other alive. It's important that we work together.
Okay.
Awesome. And with that, she will take her leave.
Okay. What about Rust? What is he doing? The boat's kind of parked. There's ample beach on this stretch of land, so there's a lot of rocks and stuff.
Rust is going to search for a particularly smooth, flat rock.
Okay, you can roll a investigation.
I find the perfect stone for skimming.
You do. It's the
The sticky
most
buns are really good,
perfectest
thank you.
stone of all.
With this, I will shatter the windows of the oppressive regime that seeks to bind us. And he starts is the term proletizing?
Monologuing.
Yeah, he starts monologuing to himself about, the usual, breaking the rotten cages of the system. I don't know, man, I'm not a rebel.
Yeah. So as you skip the rock, kind of doing your tirade to yourself, Niani is venturing off by himself or herself into the jungle. What are you looking for?
Not into the jungle, just around where we're at. I'm just looking for plants that aren't going to eat me, hopefully, that are unusual that I can take samples of. Just
Okay.
draw.
You can roll a nature check again.
I only rolled a 6. Would roll it again. That's what I rolled for
Yes.
the nature. Okay. Hey, get to roll again. An 8! Better than a 6.
Yeah. So you can find that there's a lot of just jungle plants here. You don't see anything out of the normal specifically. Does anybody want to do any further exploring, or you just want to set up camp here on the river edge?
I think that Stella taking Miss Ellie's advice would say I'm going to go check on Niani, if that's all right. I'll be right back.
Okay. Okay. You find Yanni kind of moving through the trees, looking from one thing to another.
Okay,
Doesn't look like she's finding anything specific.
sounds good. Stella walks out and says, "Hey, Niani, I'm sorry I'm so much of a team player Miss Ellie was talking about. I'm here to help if you need anything." And I'll give her bardic inspiration for whatever she's looking for.
My bardic inspiration to continue looking for plants.
Okay. Do you want to go deeper into the jungle?
I'll also walk over and
alright.
assist you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If we go deeper into the jungle, I want to be like, actually, instead of just looking for plants, also like perceptioning, I suppose.
Yeah, you can roll a perception check, and then you can roll another nature check.
Perception.
Okay. Moving deeper into the jungle, you don't necessarily find anything. Stella, if you're helping and you want to roll your own perception, as Yanni probably tells you what kind of to look for, you can also roll either a perception or nature.
I will roll a perception. I'll roll a. Well, yeah, nature's better, so.
Okay. You actually do find one of the types of plants and something that you would be wanting to note down. This is, let's see, I guess it doesn't make sense because it's not by the river. It is, what's that type of plant?
Is it
What's the
catnip?
type? No, what's the type of plant? An orchid. You find
Ooh.
Chult orchids. It's kind of nestled away in a little corner, flourishing and growing very nicely. It's a very
Aw.
beautiful
Oh,
flower.
Niani, look at these. They're so lovely. They're like orchids.
That's so fun. Yeah, and I start drawing it, and I take a sample.
Okay. Roll percentile dice before we cut back.
Oh shoot.
85.
Okay. You don't see or hear anything. Nature is peaceful here. The T-Rex must have scared everything off. Meanwhile,
Okay.
back at the
You said
the
nature
boat,
is peaceful, and then the T-Rex scared everything off. That does not go together. If the forest is silent, that's bad. If nature is peaceful, that means there is noise, and that is good.
you hear the background kind of jungle noise, but there's no like roars this time.
Got it.
So back on the beach, Azaka is basically set camp for the day, despite it being kind of still light out. Do you want to do anything else, or just kind of wait till the morning?
Can I roll for my cartographer's tool to see how the map's coming along?
Yep, and you can again have double or expertise because you're using the additional tools.
Awesome.
And then we'll say Niani and Stella can come back at this point.
Once I get
making,
good map.
Once I get back, I look at the water skeptically and try to fish one time.
Okay, yep, you can try to do a fishing check. And
Yes,
then
What do I roll for fish again?
survival.
Rival, right. The one I suck at. 14.
You don't find an exotic fish, but you find a big one that's gonna make a good dinner, which will be nice compared to the rations you've had recently. Rust, roll a perception check.
I don't have to do what you tell me,
Of course you don't.
but I will anyway.
Nice.
21.
Definitely a good thing that you are paying attention, because it felt for a moment like there was a spider on your back. However, as you spin around or try to swat it off, there doesn't seem to be anything there. You must have gotten it.
I spat at it with my wings.
Yep, it's gone.
You're supposed to capture it, by the
Damn
way.
spiders are pressing us.
What
You
spider?
rolled over it.
Russ, there's no spider. What are you talking
Press-
about?
It's just because he sucks at finding things. I would know.
Oh, I mean,
It has bird brain.
Excuse you, I found the best damn rock you'll ever see last night, and then I threw it away
come on,
for
Niani.
reasons.
It's like Vasily said, we should be playing as team players here. I'm sure he didn't mean spot up a perfectly viable specimen. Did he, Rust?
Well, he got them off just fine. He just could not find them. He's very helpful. And bird brain does not necessarily mean bad brain. It means he is a bird. And he has bird brain.
And she has a cat brain, you hear from the top of the ship.
Don't you also have a cat brain because you're also a cat?
I also have a sailor's brain because I'm a former sailor. Does that count for anything?
It
No.
means you're a cat sailor with a cat sailor brain.
Cat sailor brain. So far, it's been working out well for me. She holds up the cartographer drawing, which with a 20 and a 21 for completing the map, I think looks pretty damn good.
Yep, it's exquisite, and will definitely fetch a high reward, not only from your, I don't know what it'd be called, the team for the Zandrettan Research Committee. They will pay you for this well, but probably so will people in Chult. I'm sure there's some of the merchant princes will be happy to pay for it.
Brilliant. Just avoid the place with the skull and crossbones. That's where we saw the T-Rex, and that was not fun.
So going back here to
The
the map.
Rexes do not stay in one spot. I would recommend not placing a landmark for that particular movable being.
She notes possible skull and crossbones.
Hey, there's already one here on the map.
Yeah,
So-
exactly.
So the night rolls in. Let's see, we'll have Katie roll percentile again.
Come on, Katie.
Oh, jeez.
Oh
During the middle of the night, it's probably about 3 a.m. when you hear the T-Rex roar again. It wakes everybody up through kind of your slumbers, and immediately your guide tries to kind of slap herself awake a little bit before she starts to get ready to shove off the boat and said, "Well, we need to leave now. That sounded very close."
pack my stuff up ASAP. I don't
So,
tie it or bundle it. I'd grab it all and
Just toss it in the boat.
toss it in the boat.
Stella hurries to an oar.
Okay. Everybody roll just dexterity saving throws to see how fast everybody's kind of getting the ship ready to leave.
Oh no.
Oh god.
Oh, jeez.
Oh no.
That's a lot of fails. So the ship is kind of beached a little bit, and so you're getting everything in. You're throwing the tents without even closing them down, and you're getting out to get ready to shove the boat back into the river. When you hear the stomping of the Tyrannosaurus Rex one more time, and it seems to be coming from just around the corner of the trees. Everybody has 1 round before the T-Rex gets here. What do you want to do?
Does it look like we could, if we all work together, could we get the boat off in one single round?
You can all try with athletics checks if you all want to kind of push together. It won't be
Yes.
advantage, it'll just be 4 individual checks.
Can I use my
Yeah.
acrobatics?
Not really. I don't think you can like backbend a boat into the water.
Niani, both of our strength stats suck compared to Nisali and Russ. Can we give each other bardic inspiration for this?
Yeah. Let's do
Sounds
that.
good. Trade off.
I mean,
the
my athletics is only a +1, so.
That's better than my +0.
Okay. It's a group check, so
Okay, here we go.
And a humble
Here we go.
bard got into his boat. Get away from
Okay,
the
that's not bad.
T-Rex.
19.
those are all some really good rolls.
Athletics?
Yeah.
I will add the bardic inspiration just so we get that check. 22.
Okay.
Add your
Don't
forget
bardic
to add-
inspiration.
Add
Bardic
yours into
inspiration?
Niani. Come on, give us a 6.
5.
That's good.
Ooh.
That's 16.
So I
That's-
don't think anybody rolled lower than a 15 then. So everybody jumps out of the boat. It's a mess in the cargo bay, and like the mosquito netting still sheltering down the main canopy area. But all 4 of you plus Azakra jumps out and shoves all the way until you're knee deep in water, and you kind of all jump aboard and immediately start rowing up the stream again. The T-Rex bursts from the trees and lets out another enormous roar. And as your boat is starting to center into the river, I need to know if you want to go upstream or downstream again.
Downstream would be faster, you guys, but Stella doesn't know that.
What will get out of the way faster?
Obviously, downstream would be able to carry you faster, and you'll be able to go faster than the 2 miles an hour that the boat can normally go.
How far away?
Downstream.
How far away from the land are we?
You've been able to shove off and get to about the center of the river, so there's maybe 20 feet between you and the bank, and you're not sure exactly how deep it is. It's probably equally as deep.
So here's the thing, is if we go downstream, we're going to be doing a lot of backpedaling, and this adventure is going to take a lot longer than the rations I currently have.
Can we just kill it from like water and it can't reach us? Go across to the other side of the shore
Double thunder wave.
and use ranged attacks, or can it get across the water?
The guide would say that maybe you could just go to the other side of the bank and maybe it can't cross. I don't think we can kill it.
We should
Yes.
we should continue to head upstream. I know it's going to be slower, but at some point we need to continue to make progress on this, or else we're going to get stuck
Yeah.
with no food and being further away from our destination. If it can't get in the water, we're fine. And I actually have vehicle proficiencies with water vehicles, so I can steer while she sleeps.
Okay. You want to try to use the rest of the night to move upstream?
Yeah.
Okay. So the boat, she steers the boat to almost like the other edge of the bank, and you all start rowing together and moving upstream. She complains that she can't see super well, so you probably actually would trade out and you'd start steering and taking the helm. The
Yeah.
T-Rex is following you from the bank. It roars a couple more times and even steps into the water for a moment, but doesn't seem to like the water. And so it steps back out onto the shore and just kind of starts stomping along on the side.
Can I dancing lights to get it away from us again? Can I try to do that?
Yep, you can roll a persuasion check. Again, I would see. Yeah, it's fine. No disadvantage.
24.
Okay.
Wow.
You get its attention for a little bit, and it kind of like looks from you back into the trees where there's sparkly colors, and then it actually does kind of slip off into the jungle, temporarily or permanently. Not sure.
I think we are going to have to kill it at some point, but I do not know how.
I think Zappy would be a good idea, but I do not know if we have enough Zappy.
We need to
So
stay focused on moving ahead.
So as you begin to push your way back up the river, with the ever-present fear of the T-Rex kind of coming back, you can't. Do you want to just basically start the day here and move in through the rest of the night and into the morning and try to make up?
Yeah. That's
Sounds
what
like a plan.
Nicola would want to do.
Okay. So everybody, please roll Constitution saving throws as you push yourself through the evening and into the morning.
Natural 20. This is boat stuff. I got this.
So, Niani, you take 1 point of exhaustion as you are staying up all night.
Where do
Or
I
half
put
the night.
that? Oh, conditions, exhaustion.
And so for today, until you can actually take another long rest or rejuvenate yourself in one way or another, you are able to, I think, have disadvantage on ability checks and saving throws.
1 point.
The rest of the day, you kind of get up to where you were before, and it's about daybreak and morning time. I will need another percentile die. Let's see, Mackenzie, do you want to take that one, or Jay, whoever's first?
Jay, please. I insist.
Percentile.
Yes. Wow.
Can we pause here?
Yeah, it's about 1. I'm looking at.
It's been an hour. I actually am starting to get a bit of a headache.
We will find out what happens
So
in the next episode.
give us a cliffhanger, Adrian. What do we
I
get
think the
with the
T-Rex
two?
is so present in this region. The T-Rex bursts out of the trees again. It didn't signal with a roar, but it found you again, and it's at the point in the river, and it comes up and actually steps into the river and starts to move towards your boat. And I think that is where we will end because of lateness. So
Oh no!
Oh my god.
Oh god!
Well, that's a thing.
Yeah, well, you know what? You, buddy.
So that will conclude this Botanists of Chult session. If people are having fun and want to continue this, well, we can at a later arranged date when people are free.
Yes.
But I had fun running it. It had been an idea that I've been wanting to do for a while. So I hope you don't mind the exploration hex crawl of the River Socian Star. But I had fun. So thank you all for playing, and we'll see you in the next one.
Yes. Everybody say goodbye to YouTube.
Bye,
Bye.
Tootie.
Bye-bye.
Bye, YouTube. Happy dungeon delving.